Hi Sagittarius, happy early birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your mid-November love reading. Thank you to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as well as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread, and the way it works is look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and your main love interest. Once we get through all that, we'll pull some oracle cards for some additional insight, and that's where the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Romantic Tarot, and keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around in your situation, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have the Six of Arrows. So this is actually Aquarius energy, which represents y'all's communication. So to me, this says that you guys might have gotten into a bit of an argument in the past, and I feel like in the past you might have come back around to try to reconcile the connection with the person. I don't necessarily feel like it was a major blow up, but I do feel like at the very least in the moment it might have caused a bit of separation between the two of you. And it looks like you were trying to restore a balance there in the past. Alright, past energy on their side, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this person might have really presented themselves as pretty balanced, right? And, not too high, not too low. So if you came back around to attempt to restore balance, I feel like they were definitely open to that as well. But yeah, I do feel like for the majority of you guys probably were the ones to open up that line of communication in the past. Alright, present position on your side, we have Triumph. So this is actually the equivalent of the World card in traditional tarot. And to see this coming up here could just be saying that through you guys reconnecting and talking things out, right? I feel like this is saying that now you guys are actually able to get the situation back on track. And karmically, you could just be saying that that was something that needed to happen within the connection as well. Alright, present energy on their side, we have the Knight of Cups. So now we see another Knight energy here, but now we see a much more open energy as well, as far as emotionally speaking. And interestingly enough, if we look at the body language, in the past position, they were pointed away from the cards on your side. In the present, now we see they're pointed toward the cards, and that's how even the horses, right? So it could just be saying that, again, like I said, now that you guys talked out whatever disagreement there was in the past, looks like you guys are actually in a much better place in the connection in the present. Alright, future energy on your side, we have the Princess of Staves. So this is actually the equivalent of the Page of Wands. So for some of you, it looks like you could actually find yourselves running away from the connection at some point in the future. Now, what always stands out to me here, if we look at her facial expression, it looks like she's looking over her shoulder a little bit, right? Even though she's riding away from the cards on that side. So it could be one of those things where you might be doing it in a bit of a way to kind of test the connection, right? To see if you were to leave, would they come after you, right? Like I said, it seems like this person's very level. So I feel like something like that wouldn't even necessarily register on their radar initially, like they might not even think too much of it because they might just be caught up in their own thing. I feel like you guys might both be very independent, but in different ways, so it could just be one of those things where you might be hoping to see a little bit more passion out of this person, right? But like I said, it seems like they're just a little bit more level-headed and don't necessarily show many dramatic displays around situations like that. Alright, future energy on their side, we have the Two of Wands. So yeah, could just be one of those things where, like I said, if you were to leave the connection in the future, this could just say that maybe their friends will try to convince them to come out, right? Just come out, get your mind off things. But for some of you, this could represent, in a more positive sense, if this is you trying to light a fire under them, this could represent energy coming to play as well, right? So I can see that going either way. Alright, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Queen of Arrows. So this is Libra energy here. And yeah, to me, this is another indicator that you guys might have been, if we look at her body language, right? She's holding that arrow pointed toward their direction, which represents communication. The bird as well represents communication. There's a couple birds there. And she's looking over her shoulder a little bit, right? So I feel like this is saying that you were trying to be open and receptive, hoping for them to make the first move, reach out, right? So it could just be one of those things where you're hoping to see more effort put in from their end. But like I said, it just seems like I don't even think it's anything personal toward you. It just seems like that's the energy that they're in. They kind of get wrapped up in their own world and don't even notice displays like that, and might not be good with social cues as far as knowing that, oh, this person wants me to go after them. And bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So the good thing there is, to me, this says that they would be willing to put in work toward the connection, right? But like I said, it could just be one of those things where you might feel like sometimes they might just be a bit oblivious to what's going on around them. Maybe they're just very work oriented, given that we do see the Knight of Pentacles in the past. But if we see the artwork here, right, it looks like they're definitely enjoying themselves, right? Playing in the water. So it could just be one of those things where it could just be saying that you might need to actually snap them out of that phase, where they could just get really wrapped up in work and just have that singular focus and not even really notice how time is passing and things along those lines, right? Because to me, this says that they would put the effort in there. But if you are just really hoping for them to take the initiative and start things up, it doesn't look like that's as likely. But once you get them going, it looks like they would actually put into work. All right, so moving on to your oracle cards. First, let's see what we get from Aqua Moonlight back here. I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording, and I'm looking for unspoken messages from you to them, then from them to you. I'll be looking for jumpers initially, but if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I'll just put the deck down on multiple cards that way. And got one there. And next we'll see what we get from them to you. Oh, almost had one there. And this doesn't want to go back in the deck. All right, so let's see what we got on your side first. All right, we have ego. It says it's easier to block everything out right now. I'd rather ignore my emotions. So yeah, to be fair, I feel like maybe that could have been more of an energy that might have been in play in the past, because like I said, given the Six of Arrows, it looks like you guys are probably the ones to initiate the reconciliation between the two of you. But to be fair, that could be you with the Princess of Spades energy in the future too, right? Where, like I said, it looks like you might run away from the connection. Kind of hoping that they would chase after you. But on their side, we have pressure. It says, I have so much going on in my life and I'm struggling to juggle it all at once. So yeah, that's what I kind of picked up on. Like I said, I was saying I didn't feel like it would be anything personal toward you if you felt like, oh, they're not chasing after me, they're not putting in the effort, they're not initiating, right? I feel like it's just saying that they just get caught up in their own world, and seeing that they're, yeah, like I said, it could just be one of those things where maybe they just really have a lot of work that they get wrapped up in. And like I said, it looks like they would actually appreciate if you did kind of get them out of that for a bit, right? Even if you just suggest like just going on a hike someday or something like that, right? It doesn't have to be anything huge, but it looks like, again, like I said, if we look at their facial expressions, it definitely looks like they're enjoying themselves, right? So they just might actually need that little break to get away from their everyday things that they're caught up in. So hopefully it resonated with you. All right, and lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom Oracle deck. Same situation as far as I pre-shuffled this one as well, but here we're just looking for one card with general advice to wrap up with. Alright, so nothing's coming up. So what I'll do is I'll put the deck down and just give me a few seconds to tune in and we'll pull a card. Alright, and we'll take this one. Get this out of the way. And let's see what you got. All right, we have amending. There's the artwork, and the number is 52. So yeah, this definitely, at the very least, seems to align with what I was saying with the Six of Arrows. It looks like you guys might have come forward to get things back on track in the connection. But let's see what the messages say. Okay, the relationship message says you've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary if you're to move forward. Separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of a hurt that is impacting everything you do, even if you're not aware of it. The energy needs to clear. What must you do to bridge this gap? Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. So yeah, could just be one of those things where, like I said, that could be what it is. Like maybe their coping mechanism for whatever the situation was, maybe they might have really dug themselves into their work lives, right? To not think about the situation much, and then that could be another indicator. And like I said, getting them out of that mode for a bit seems like it'd really be good for the connection. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. Once again, happy early birthday, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.